You are listening to Maximum Pew Pew, an actual play RPG podcast. Maximum Pew Pew follows continuous storylines and are meant to be enjoyed from the beginning. This episode follows the West of Perdition storyline and may contain spoilers for adventures contained in Things from the Flood and Out of Time, published by Free League. The following content may contain mature themes and adult language. In this episode, the teens get back into the groove at Princeton Senior High School.
You're listening to J104.5. This is Tony Walker with your local sports update. The Carolina Panthers pick up the win against the Falcons in Atlanta. Both offenses struggled to put points on the board. Final score 9-6. In college ball, the Mountaineers collected their second win of the season against Eastern Carolina, 24-17. And the Marshall Thunder and Herd got their first win on the road this season against Army, 35-25. Over in high school football, James Monroe over Greenbrier West, 42-27. Graham trounces Giles, 35-3. The Tazewell Bulldogs beat Mountview, 42-18. And the most shocking result of the weekend, the Bluefield Beavers forfeited the highly anticipated rivalry match with Princeton. Bluefield's coach claims unsafe road conditions made it impossible for this team to make the trek to Princeton. Both teams are hoping for an opportunity to schedule a makeup game, though the State Board of Education has yet to weigh in on the situation. That has been your local sports update. Stay tuned for yesterday's hits and today's favorites on J104.5.
All right, so you are...
Just can't quit that relationship. No.
Just can't get out of it.
That relationship, right?
Yep. So we are in Princeton, West Virginia, circa 1998. The school year has just started. So it's early, so we're talking like August, September, probably the first couple of weeks. Just to get everybody oriented. Everybody's still going to homeroom before they, go to first block. So first block's a little bit truncated in the morning, but we're doing homeroom to make sure, we got to give the freshmen plenty of time to kind of, if there wouldn't be freshmen there yet, give the sophomores time to orient to the school and get situated. So, wait, this is 98? They would have graduated in 02? Yep, new freshman and sophomore class. Because this would have been the year that the freshman wing was freshly built at Princeton Senior High School, which means not only did, the ninth graders that were at Princeton Middle and Glenwood Junior are coming up, but also the eighth graders as well. So 50% of the students in this building right now are brand new. Homeroom's going to be a little bit longer in the year than normal while they get everything kind of situated. Now, depending on your age, there's 50-50 shot that this is your first year at Princeton Senior High School or, maybe second or even third year at Princeton Senior High School. But regardless, all of you are at the high school and you think it's going to be a good year with no craziness, weirdness, anything like that. You get the impression that everything's going to go nice and smooth.
I don't trust any GM that says those words.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be fine. The only weird thing that's been happening right now is one of your homeroom teachers, and we'll say Tristan, your homeroom teacher, for whatever reason, so all the teachers have like a homeroom. And that's like everyone. So, your homeroom teacher might be the chemistry teacher, it might be the math teacher, or it might be, like the sign language teacher, just because like everyone's got a homeroom and so Tristan, your teacher actually does some of the like sign language and sort of like additional communications. And she hasn't come back to work yet. And you've heard the other teachers, like she had a late vacation. She went to Myrtle Beach, as everyone does when you live in West Virginia.
Yep, typical West Virginian.
Yep. She had a late vacation later in the basically semester and year, and she just never came back. And the staff have called. She's got other friends, and you can hear, like, and some of the other teachers are kind of complaining, like the teachers have called, and she answers the call, and she tells them, "Yeah, I'll be home, coming back today." And then she just doesn't come back, and they give her another call at Myrtle Beach. It's like, "Yeah, I tried leaving, and the traffic was terrible, so we had to come back. I'll try again tomorrow." And maybe like 2 weeks now, she's just not come back to work.
Huh. Well,
and she's been a really diligent teacher too. Like, this is, no one's probably had her as a teacher, and it's not like Princeton has an ASL class, but rather she is helping with accessibility with students that may be hard of hearing to teach them ASL. So it's not really an elective as much as it's an accessibility class. And she's been well liked, and she's worked here for 23 years and has hardly missed any time. And for whatever reason, she just refuses to come back from the beach.
Well, maybe she snapped or something. Like, she's just finally had enough.
Tired of all those kids.
I'm tired of being a responsible and well-liked member of society.
The beach is nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to ride this out as long as I can.
What doesn't shit their pants? The beach.
Yeah.
Kids do, though.
Let's see. There's been another little bit of weirdness too. So Tony, we haven't even done character introductions because that's where I am right now. Tony, what sport do you play? What sports do you play?
Tony plays Princeton. He probably focuses on baseball.
Baseball. So it's a little bit early in the season for baseball. You've got football season going on right now, and you might start getting some of the soccer seasons depending on what's going on. A little bit early for basketball. So one of the big local rivalries is Bluefield Princeton. And that game was supposed to be last Friday. No one else probably cared, but you keep up on it because you know the coaches, you hear word, everything like that. And it was a home game, home as in it was going to be Princeton, not Mitchell Stadium, but actually Honeycutt Stadium over at Princeton. And the Bluefield team was a no-show. So Bluefield literally forfeited one of the biggest rivalry games in the state because they no-showed to the stadium. And, they interviewed the coach, and he said, the traffic was terrible. We couldn't get there. We got lost. We just couldn't make our way to the stadium. And, at a certain point, we had to give up because, those kids were going to be playing at 12, 1 o'clock if we made it at that point. And, we couldn't do that. It was going to be unfair to everyone. So, we don't know why. We wish we had a better explanation. Maybe we can reschedule later in the season or something, but we couldn't make it.
No, Beavers were just scared this year.
They
knew we were going to be
They
stacked.
were. I mean, it's a AA school trying to fight a AAA school. You've got that new quarterback who has just been an absolute stud, and there's no way.
No, I mean they got nothing on it.
Yeah,
nothing.
they saw your run defense against James Madison, and there was no way that Bluefoot, I don't care how good your fullback is, there's no way they're going to get past that line.
No.
So they were probably just afraid. But, other than that, everything's just kind of been fine. Everything's going normal, typical week in West Virginia, in Princeton. But, Willow, there's also been, you like to run around a bit. You've got a van. You've got that freedom and stuff. And you've found that it's been, there's not a lot of shopping in Princeton. I mean, you've got to go to Mercer Mall or maybe, even Bluefield, Virginia, where it's the closest Walmart. They've been talking about putting a Walmart in Princeton. They just built an Applebee's near the interstate. So, I mean, you know, Princeton's kind of on the up and up right now. And, you know, you want to go shopping, you know, you need to buy something just to get out and do something, maybe walk around the mall. And for whatever reason, you just have like, you get in your car, you get in your van, and you go towards 460, and you lose all desire to go to the mall. You're thinking, I don't really want to go to the mall. Maybe I just want to drive around here. I just got on the van and maybe just drive around a little bit. I'm just going to ride around a little bit in the city of Princeton, and, you know, I can probably find a store that has what I need. It'll be fine. And you never seem to have the desire to make it outside of city limits. Like, you get in the car with the full intent. It's like, and it just never happens.
Okay.
But I mean, normal Princeton stuff.
Absolutely normal.
Nothing unusual there.
I'm just picturing Princeton because I grew up like 20 minutes from there. So like
just go to
98
your
Princeton, I'm
local
like, yep,
thrift
I know
store.
exactly where you went shopping. You either went to Kmart or you went to Rose's.
That's all there was. And, you know, you think like, yeah, Rose's has probably what I need. Why do I need to go all the way to Mercer Mall?
Yeah,
It's,
it's like,
you get
why?
close to 460 and you're just like, you just take a little U-turn. Like, I don't need to get on there.
I mean, there might also be a thrift store that sells all my fringy things.
Absolutely. There are quite a few pawn shops and like Golden Pawn and everything like that in Princeton. You'd probably find what you need. So is Eddy on any medications or anything? You think Eddy might be on?
I'm not certain offhand.
Okay.
I didn't really see
You've
that.
got you work on cars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes discreetly, sometimes not so discreetly.
Okay. So
I hang out a lot with the tuners.
yeah. There's one job that you make a lot of money off of. I mean, okay, not a lot of money. It's just like the amount of effort you have to put into it versus how much you can get out of it. Is it changing oil?
Yeah.
You know, oil. I mean, you know, you can come to whoever's house, you can change their oil, and, you know, they'll slip you $30, $40 just because they didn't have to take it to Pennzoil or anything like that. And it's so easy. You've got the little dolly, you can slip under there. Change. I mean, it's
Stupid easy.
easy peasy. You go to the place, you buy oil from, you know, Advanced Auto Parts or, you know, someplace like that.
Napa. That's the only
Napa,
thing.
yeah. It's like Napa and Advanced.
Napa.
Yeah. So you get the oil, you take it to the place, you replace it, and then like you take the used oil, you can get like a little bit of deposit out of it or whatever. And you've got a good relationship with those places. And it's been very difficult to get oil recently. They've been sold out. And you ask them like, well, when are you planning on getting oil? It's like, well, we've ordered it, but the truck just hasn't come yet. Check back with us tomorrow. I mean, we've got on order, but it's just, So yeah, something that you get pretty regularly.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they're having issues coming in, and like I said, Napa, and you check Advanced Auto Parts, they're having the same issues. Like, yeah, we're still waiting on truck. Check back with us tomorrow. But I mean, these things are not unusual. I mean, this is typical Princeton, West Virginia stuff, circa 1998. You know, nothing weird going on. You know, homeroom goes by swimmingly. You the bell rings for, you know, first block, second block, and now we're going to play a scene of everyday life. And the scene is second block's letting out, time for lunch. So, I want to see what your life is like when that bell rings for lunchtime. And we'll start over here on my left with Eddy. Eddy, tell me about that second bell rings. You're halfway through the day. Your stomach might be a little growly. Maybe it is.
Absolutely is. I mean, if a 16-year-old is not having a growling stomach by lunchtime, there's a serious problem here. So, of course, it's the absolute obligatory wait very impatiently in line. If I'm lucky, I might run into one of the other car jockeys in the group. Yeah.
Okay.
Just catch up on what I might have missed with some of the locals, whether it's talking about what was being tuned, what work was being done, who won the race, you know, because who cares about homecoming? You know, that's stuff my big brother does. Why do I care about it?
Yeah.
I try to keep that quiet so I don't get decked by the other guy next to me. But yeah, beyond just picking up what I'm able to in the launch line, it's just chat with a couple of the usuals as I make my way towards my usual spot, which is as close to the windows as possible, because sometimes you might see a classic roll by.
Yeah. So you've got you all have sort of like a usual spot, a clique of probably more than the four of you, but usually that's kind of like the go-to, because you've got people that might be like in an art club or anything like that kind of keeps them from, doing lunch, or they might do something different. So you get your tray. Well, actually, you wouldn't be getting your tray. You'd get in line, and they would fix the food for you and hand you the tray. And lunch today is looking pretty weak. To start, there's like no chocolate milk. They're like straight out of chocolate milk.
That's a sin.
They're running pretty low on 2% milk. Still quite a bit of skim milk, though.
Okay, now that is illegal.
Yeah. So, and you've actually got a few students who are asking if they can just get like a cup for water or something, and they've got like those little like 6-8 ounce clear plastic cups they're giving out to some. It looks like it's some type of turkey, and you would think like the Thanksgiving type, it's a little bit thicker, but like it almost seems like it may have been like lunch meat, like thin, like it should have been made for a sandwich, and they just don't have bread or something. And they've kind of made it sort of like, so it's almost like an open-faced turkey sandwich, but without one of the pieces of bread. And you're really getting this impression that they're trying, like they are out of bread and trying to like stretch it as far as possible, so they don't even have enough to make full sandwiches. They're just trying to do this like open-faced thing. A mixed vegetable along with some creamed corn, and it's by school lunch standards, this is pretty low still. I mean,
the bar was already down here.
Yeah, the bar's low, with the exception of like you get those bangers like a pepperoni cheese roll or the flat pizza.
Oh yeah,
or
pizza
that
days
type
are
of
best days. We all know this.
Yeah. But this one takes the cake for like some of the worst school food that you've ever been served.
Yeah, this is bad.
So you grab your tray and you make your way to the table.
Yep, grab my seat by the window. Just, kind of absently, eating the not so appealing looking creamed corn and acting like it's not actually going to kill me.
Yeah. Tony, second bell rings. So lunch period. You may or may not.
Tony generally skips the first part of lunch. He'll walk out usually to his car because he despises school lunch. But he knows he can't leave campus.
Right. I mean, well, yeah, you're not a senior, and it's not quite that time.
Right. So he knows that he can't go off campus, but he just goes out, hangs out in his car for first 10, 15 minutes of lunch, let kind of the lunch crowd or the lunch lines calm down a little bit, and then he'll come in and just usually grab a quick bite, maybe some fruit, something like that. But
okay. Now you were pretty fortunate. You've got a pretty close parking space, because usually they assign parking spaces in the summer. And then what they do is, like that first day where they're assigning parking, you drive to school, you put your car in the space that you want it, and then they'll go around and you just sign up for that parking space.
Yep.
And they're numbered. So you're already up early anyway to practice or whatever. So you got a nice close parking space. It's not a far walk to class at all. Now you're the furthest away from like the road. You're the closest to school, and that's really what matters in the morning when you're, maybe running a little bit behind. Those spaces are also really close to like the bridge that goes over to the football stadium and the baseball stadium and stuff. So you knew what you were doing. You took advantage. You got there a little bit early. You cruised right in. You knew the spot you wanted, and you got it. And it being a late August, early September day, it's a little warm in your car. So you might crank the window down. You might have the door open, because it's probably, a good 100, 110 in the vehicle after, the sun shined on it for the past 4 hours. But, that's fine. You might sweat a little bit, but, that's it's additional training, basically.
Yeah, basically just trying to Get ready for the upcoming baseball season.
So you
that water weight.
so you relax in your car, you do a little meditation, kind of lean back a little bit, eyes closed.
Probably take a little nap.
Yeah, take a little nap. You wake up, realize that you probably need to go get your food.
Yeah, walk in.
The lines are pretty much dead at this point. You've got a few other people that kind of slacked off. Maybe they went to the library, maybe they did a club meeting, something like that. But I mean, there might be half a dozen people in front of you in line versus a quarter of the school that it was.
Right. Yeah, so go through line, see that there's not much. Man, either everyone was hungry today or there was just slim picking.
Yeah. I mean, and pretty much the only thing left is it looks like the same sort of half open face sandwich.
We don't even get bread at this point.
Yeah, well, it's still there, but you can overhear conversation with some of the lunch ladies like, if we don't get a shipment tomorrow, then, I mean, don't make all of those turkey sandwiches. We might still be able to use the bread for something like we can turn it like breadcrumbs, maybe be able to use it for. So you can hear them having this conversation because it's near the end of the line. You're one of the last people to get food, so they have a better idea like, okay, this is probably the last we're going to serve. You've got a few kids that are coming in there and asking like if there's going to be seconds today, and they're having to turn away like, no, honey, we barely got enough to get through today. We'll, but that seems to be a situation in there. You're going to get something very similar to what Eddy was able to get with his offering.
Okay. Go grab my half-empty tray of food, go to my normal table that's got, football players, cheerleaders, basketball players sitting at it because that's the clique that he's in.
Yeah.
And, start talking about, food's usually shit anyway, but this is
Tell me about it.
Unreal.
Like you can't even give us like a full turkey sandwich. They said they even have mustard. Like I'm supposed to eat this turkey sandwich dry.
No, you want to make it an open face, throw some gravy on it. It'll take, 3 ingredients to make some gravy? And we don't even have gravy.
They don't even have that. They got no ketchup. Apparently we ran out of ketchup like last week. I don't know what they're doing. Like, how hard is it to get a truck here?
I mean, the road's just up there.
Yeah, go to Kroger and buy some mustard, buy some ketchup, do something. I mean, if the truck's not coming in, you're obviously not paying for it. Like, pay somebody to get some food in here.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man.
Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to get gains, replace all this muscle when, like, it's ridiculous. I don't know. Let's go to McDonald's later or something. I don't.
Yeah, McDonald's sounds good.
It does. After this, Jesus.
Big Mac is the holy grail at that point.
98, back when Big Macs were actually big.
Yeah.
Well, hell, at least a Big Mac actually has 2 pieces of bread.
3.
Yeah.
See, now you're just making up for, losing that piece of bread at lunch.
There you go.
All is right in the universe.
I'm going to get all my grain servings if I get that Big Mac.
Let's get this bread.
So the Holy Trinity right there.
Let's get this bread. Tristan.
Yes, sir.
Second bell rings. Time for lunch.
All right. So normally, like 4 out of 5 times, I usually don't eat lunch anyway. So it's usually on days where like there's like they're actually like good stuff like the pepperoni rolls or like the pizza days that I actually would go in there and get food. But I usually just wait until the end of the day when I go home to eat something.
Yeah.
And I usually make my decision as I'm walking in there, like eyeballing like what other kids have on their, what other students have on their trays. And today, seeing what offerings we have, I'm like, well,
hard pass.
Yep, that's a hard pass for me. So making this decision, I will either find one of my friends, Willow, see if she's willing to let me sit with her at lunch, or one of the other few friends I have. If not, I'll just go to my usual spots in like a corner on a wall. I'll just sit there, read a book or something.
Okay. So one nice perk about the high school is that they do have a, they've got pop machines, Pepsi branded, and they've got snack machines. Now, the snack machines, there's like barely anything left in them right now. Like there's pretzels.
Yeah, so maybe the thought crossed my mind of, hey, maybe I'll pick up a small snack or something just to hold me over through the day.
Yeah. Now the pop machines, they're in pretty good shape right now.
Okay.
That's one of the few things that you feel like has been pretty well stocked, and a lot of that is because there's actually a Pepsi bottling plant in Princeton. So it's like, okay, just like run it over so they can
just a quick trip to the other side of town or something.
Yeah. So, but like the stack machines, like, and you've seen this happen on like Fridays, but we're talking like it's Monday. Like there should certainly be, they should have restocked at some point, and the cupboards certainly are looking pretty bare.
Yeah, so I'll skip out on that and just head to my usual spot or find someone to sit with.
Willow, second bell rings. It's lunchtime.
Okay, well, Willow will pack up all of her notes and everything because she's pretty studious. She'll definitely head to the cafeteria, avoiding all of the food because she usually doesn't eat food. She brings it herself.
Okay.
So she'll usually just have like a small little bag of chips or like a small sandwich. She doesn't eat a lot. And she'll probably sit where nobody else is, just to get away from other people and other hippies, because she doesn't like hanging out with them. She feels like they're fake. She's like,
they're not authentic.
Exactly.
There's not enough particles of non-champa in the air around you. You got it wrong.
Exactly.
More clove.
But yeah, then she'll like go sit down at a table by herself, just eating her food, looking around, and waiting for Tristan in case he wants to show up and sit beside of her. She has her bag right beside of her.
Okay. You all are in your respective areas. It's getting close to the end of lunch, and it seems like everybody's kind of found their own place to sort of sit and chill out. Maybe not.
Good question. Since I usually am like, watching out the window, did I see anything interesting vehicle-wise that, I might want to take a note of, oh, hey, looks like that's in town now, or, this is, because that's usually my favorite thing to do, because as you said, I change, people's oil, or, I work with a lot of the other local shops, just do some little menial work. So it's nice to know what new cars are coming in town and possibly staying in town.
Yeah. So
Hint.
what I'd like to have you do is I want you to make me a investigate roll. Now, the lunchroom has windows that are sort of front facing. So the parking lot where all the students park is near the back. And there's not really like any windows. Like you might be able to take a look at your car in one of the classrooms, kind of like out one of the windows and be able to peek at it. So the front of the building, there's like this big cul-de-sac that runs around and kind of feeds off. And some parents will drop students off and then they'll make the round on the cul-de-sac. Buses will use that route. And on occasion, there are some like the higher up faculty will also park there. So principal, vice principal, some of the secretaries, like the administrative. So not necessarily teachers, whatever. And sometimes you'll get visitors. And over the past few weeks, because you study cars, you've kind of learned which teachers and which faculty kind of drive which cars. Like he's got the Grand Am, he's got the Monte Carlo, she's got the Trailblazer. Like, you kind of gathered that. So give me an investigate roll, see if there's anything unusual going on.
All right. And then in that case, since investigate's a 0, I'm just rolling mind.
Correct.
And I'm needing 6s, correct?
Yeah. So 6s mean successes. And this is just normal difficulty, so I just need 1 success here.
Actually, I have no successes this time.
No successes.
No successes. 2 5s and 2 3s.
So your options, you can mark a condition to re-roll all of your failed dice to try to get a success, or you could, if you want to mark your shame, that gives you a free success, or you can just let this one ride here.
Just gonna let this one ride. It was more of a curiosity thing to
so you
to see what like my table is looking like at that point,
because
I might be sketching or making a note in the notepad based on what I'm seeing, because again, like to know what's coming in.
So the past 2 weeks of school, you haven't seen anybody bring in any interesting cars. There's rumor that the vice principal has a 86 Corvette, but he's certainly not bringing it to school. But you really don't see any vehicles of note that would be too terribly interesting. Yeah. Anybody else want to do anything special? He's just naming that specifically. Anybody just kind of relaxing, enjoying lunch?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Well, actually, I was thinking about it. Like, I don't know. I feel like Willow will be look over and see like if anybody needs anything, because she's always helpful and she likes helping people. Like, maybe another kid didn't have lunch money and she has like maybe an extra sandwich packed away she could give to somebody.
Yeah. So you can make me an empathize roll. And what empathize is going to do is you're going to kind of feel people out, see if anyone's in distress right now, try to determine if anything weird's going on. Oh, you're throwing a ton of dice at this.
Damn.
My empathize is like a 3 and then my mind is a 5, so. Yeah, I got 1 success, 2 successes actually.
2 successes. So, so study and learn the behavior of a person or animal. Ask 2 questions. And a bonus effect from investigate. So I'll let you ask 3 questions about behavior of kind of people in the area. And this is you just kind of studying them. And then based off that information, you'll be able to get a +1 die roll if you use that information later. So this is just you kind of like hanging back and sort of picking out behavior. So you can ask me whatever about the lunchroom, the situation.
Okay. Do I see any kids that look like maybe agitated, that the food's, not expected, but also kind of like they're struggling with getting food, like maybe at home or something like that?
So I'll count this as 2 questions. So I'm going to break it down.
Okay.
So the first question was like, is anybody agitated? It seems like the vast majority of the lunchroom is agitated. And a lot of that is kind of like that viral hive mentality too, that one person's agitated. So now like, oh, I'm 16, I'm agitated too now. And, now it's just like kind of spreads like wildfire. But, that being said, like this, you typically pack your lunch, but this is not something that is very, very representative of what this school usually gives out as lunch. And a lot of the kids can kind of see that, and they are agitated about it too, because, this is just, they feel like it's unacceptable. Like, school lunch is never great, but, this is unacceptable. The second question was, you're curious if there's any kids that feel like they're lacking, like they need food. And there were quite a few. I mean, you know that it's usually sort of an unwritten rule that near the end of lunch, once all the kids have kind of been fed, they can't serve leftovers in the cafeteria. But what they do is, if they do have leftovers, instead of like serving it next day like you would at your own house, refrigerator, reheat it later, kids will come through the line again, ask if there's anything extra, and, maybe be able to get, an extra chicken sandwich or some extra mashed potatoes or something like that. That helps the kids that are in need, but it also helps the lunchroom clean up, because now they have all this extra food. Do you want to throw it away, or do you want to give it to a kid that actually needs it? And in spite of the situation with the lunch and how abysmal it is, you still have kids like kind of going through there like they normally would, seeing if there's extra. And you see all of them coming out kind of empty-handed, like there's nothing available for them. This happens on pepperoni cheese roll day, because everybody's like, yeah, I want another pepperoni cheese roll, and they swing back through lines, so they run out like really quick. It normally doesn't happen on days like this where you've got like a really, kind of bad lunch. And you see kids that are even like still need to eat something or desperate for food. They swing through the line. They're not getting anything. They're not being provided anything like they normally would.
Okay, and then I want to ask one of the kids that definitely went back through the line a second time and ask them why they turned them away. Okay.
So you kind of get into the good graces of one of these kids. You sidle up to him. It's like you've got a spare like half sandwich or something like that, and slip it to him. It's like, you probably don't start with that. You're like, hey, I've got a spare sandwich. Do you want anything? And you've got this natural charm about you that lets you kind of like get people to talk to you like you're confessional or like a bartender or something. Yeah. Like you sit around them for 30 seconds, all of a sudden you get their life story.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's happening here. The impression you get is that the kids saying it's like they didn't have any spare food. It seems like they were making just as little as they could today and didn't have many leftovers, because that They said something about the truck not coming in, so they're trying to scrape together what meals they can. They said that they weren't sure if they were going to be able to make lunch for the rest of the week with the stuff they had. They were going to have to get really creative, they said. But this kid, we'll say a freshman boy, scarfs this sandwich down. I mean, it's already half sandwich. It's like 3 bites is all it takes for him to go through it. And he's super appreciative of the help you've given him. But yeah, that's what he cites. He says that they just aren't making that much extra, and they're trying to stretch stuff as far as they can to try to get through the week because they've had issues getting shipments in.
Okay. All right. And then I guess after she'll do that, she'll go back to her spot and see if Tristan ever shows up.
Okay. Tristan, does he ever show up?
Yeah.
Okay. By that time, Tristan's kind of sitting there. And Tristan, you know what her lunchbox looks like.
Yeah. So,
tell me what her lunchbox looks like.
It's probably pastel with some sort of flowers on it.
Okay. Oh gosh, what was the I'm trying to think the artist that was always like the neon colored, like with unicorns and
Yeah.
Like a 5-year-old lunchbox.
Yeah. No, so that's what happens there. Everyone's sitting down, relaxing, trying to, big air quotes, enjoy lunch, and you start to see some people stir in the office. So the lunchroom is pretty detached from like the rest of the school. And the first, like, so that being said, like the lunchroom, the first thing you pass to be able to get back in kind of the classroom area is the office, which is where the front door is. So like when you come to the front door, you can either, you pass by the office, you can hang a right to go to the lunchroom and the band room. It's it over there, or hang a left and you go to like all the classroom stuff. So, you know, about the only thing you have to be able to look at is the office space, and there's a stir, and you see the principal and the vice principal, and just because they happen to be there this day of the week, a school nurse start to rush back into the classroom area. And all of you kind of see this independently of your tables and stuff. So you see these 3 mobilize back towards the classroom area. There shouldn't be any students or anything like right now back there. So do with that information what you'd like.
Hey Tristan, did you see that?
I did. Yeah, probably just some crap going on with the teacher or something.
You think somebody might be in trouble? You want to go check it out?
I'm sure we'll hear about it later, over like an announcement or something.
I love it.
But Tristan, what if something's wrong?
Well, what can we do about it?
More than maybe what the adults could do, 'cause they're too rational.
Well, if it turns out that there isn't anything wrong, then we'll just end up getting in trouble for no reason.
I'll take that risk.
I mean, if you want to, sure.
All right.
So Tony and Eddy at their respective places kind of see this happen, and no one's really noticing, but then you see your 2 friends, Tristan and Willow, kind of get up. You know, Willow's all about it and kind of dragging on Tristan's like sleeve to try to get him mobilized, and Tristan sort of reluctantly like gets up and finally kind of mopes off in that direction. But it seems like that they're probably going to check out what's going on.
You know, haven't heard from at least one of my usuals today. Wonder if they got stuck and didn't come in because of being violently ill, because this is about the right time to be violently ill and be sent home early, right?
Yeah, totally.
Good enough. Normally I try to aim for middle of first block, you know.
Well, depending on your home situation, which, you know, some of these guys probably the same situation, you know, you might want to eat first and then you fake sick, then you go home. That way you at least go home with a full belly.
There you go.
I know this trick. You know, double check the time. Yeah, this is about the right time. Where the hell is he? Pack my my little notebook because, you know, take one last look out there. Ugh.
Nothing cool today.
No, you know, that's exactly it. It's like, ugh, nothing. Close the book up and just scuttle my way out of the cafeteria without drawing too much attention to myself. Because, again, you know, I'm curious, is he actually sick or did he just fake it?
Okay. Tony, now you see Eddy like stand up a little bit before the bell, because most everyone kind of drags their feet when the bell rings anyway, try to maximize the amount of time they're not in a classroom.
Yeah, Tony sees the three of them run out so kind of separately. Tony is starving right now. Like this turkey sandwich, air quotes,
Didn't touch it.
Didn't touch anything. He always keeps a couple snacks in his locker, so he says, "Catch you guys later." Gets up, walks towards his locker, which is in the same direction.
Okay.
Probably, I don't know, 15, 20 feet behind his brother. Probably yells something smart ass to him. And although they don't get along, Tony will still share whatever snacks he's got with his brother.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Hey man, come to the locker. I got some food if you're still hungry."
Sorry. As I'm eating myself.
That sounds great.
Just use it.
It's like, nah, I haven't heard from oh boy, names. I'm bad at names.
James. Charlie.
Let's go with Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Because I'm not going to call anybody James. I mean, come on. I'm telling him to call me Eddy.
Jim.
No, I haven't seen Jimmy at lunch. I'm wondering if he's playing sick to go home early or if there's something really wrong with him. Saw him at homeroom. Don't know what's going on.
That was the last time you saw him was homeroom?
Well, I mean, I saw him in homeroom. I wasn't paying attention in class.
Okay, that's normal.
What? I mean, I just gesture to my book. There's stuff to build.
Hey man, no judgment from me. I mean, I'm just sitting here throwing a baseball up in the air the whole class. So
that's exactly my point. As we're walking in the general direction where the teacher probably doesn't even realize
Just like
that
does
we're going.
like the little forearm trick and
And as he's doing that, we're walking down the hall. Doesn't realize I'm actually taking us towards where they just ran off to.
Yeah.
It's like, I haven't seen him like all lunch. Usually we hang out and he tells me what I missed at the race this weekend.
So the four of you, and it's kind of like an empty hallway, and these hallways are built for a large volume of people. So when you only see like 3 or 4, you're kind of conspicuous, but the four of you kind of like see each other, and you realize that the commotion at the end of this long hallway, you can see the library, and it seems like whatever commotion there was, the principal, vice principal, school nurse, has kind of culminated into a small crowd of maybe about a dozen faculty and teachers at the library right now. So if you all want to get closer, that's probably going to be a sneak. You can certainly try to convince me of other things you would like to use, but I'm going to go with sneak right now. And basically failure is you are not as quiet or as inconspicuous as you thought you were in your approach. Now, the library is really strange with Princeton. So you've got like this long hallway, and the library, if you can imagine a donut, where the inside of the donut's the library, and you've got classrooms like all the way around it. So the library itself is almost like an atrium. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a forward approach to the library. You can kind of like work your way around if you want to as well. And there's like a couple of entrances that get you into the library, but you kind of got a straight approach. So I'm going to say it's normal difficulty because you've got, once you get close enough, you've got plenty of places to kind of sneak around and stuff. So.
Well, if I may ask a question real quick, what is like the school's policy on like going to different parts of the school during lunch, like the library or something? Because I know in some schools they really don't care if you spend your lunch in the library.
And usually that's the case. You figure though with it would be hard to see what's happening in the library right now. Mm-hmm. Generally, if you've got a good enough excuse, like if a teacher stops you and asks what you're doing, if you've got a good enough excuse this time in school, like they're not going to second guess you. So I would say that would probably be a charm roll. So if it's like, where are you going there? It's like, library, I need to check out a book. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Because most kids don't have library class. Like if they want to go to the library, it's got to be at lunch. So, so you could use charm if you wanted to, like just go there like you own the place
Yeah,
And-
just like
okay.
just go with the
think-
attitude of I'm supposed to be here.
Okay.
I'm not doing anything wrong.
Okay. Now, we'll talk about difficulty depending on where that drops. So, Eddie, are you interested in getting closer?
Absolutely, because I want to know what in the hell's going on and if
Okay.
I'm right or if I'm wrong.
Gotcha. So,
But,
how would you like to make that approach?
well, we are nearing the end of the lunch period, right?
It is getting close. Probably, if you took a look at your watch, probably another 5 minutes before the bell rings and
Okay.
the crowd of kids starts coming through.
You know, why sneak? Not quite the same idea of being, like I'm belonging there. I want to run in and return this book that I have on, antique Volkswagens before it's too late.
Okay.
They had to ILL this thing for me. I had to wait all summer for it.
Gotcha.
So that's my evidence to get in there. So I'm actually moving a little bit faster to get in there than
Okay.
anything, because I'm literally cutting it down to the wire of get it back and then
Okay.
get to my next class.
So I'm still going to say it's probably going to be charm, just
Okay.
because you're trying to beguile them.
Yep,
That's your story. So you'll make your approach, and we'll deal with that in a moment. Tony, you see the commotion in the library. How would you make that approach?
Tony would just walk up and basically ask, "What's going on?"
Okay,
like
so just be real ham-handed with
Yeah, I
it.
mean, he
Well, you are ham.
yeah, the teachers know him. He's kind of got a big personality anyways.
Yeah.
Kind of the class clown, things like that. So it's not out of character for him to just,
What's up?
what's the hubbub?
Okay. Tristan, I mean, you had pitched this whole idea of could we be there or not. So do you want to try to sneak up there, or are you just going to play your cards when you?
I'm just gonna go up there. And if they ask, I'll just say I'm just going to the library.
Okay.
And if they don't ask, then okay, whatever.
Okay. Willow,
or for me?
For me.
what would Willow's approach be in this situation?
She would follow Tristan in, with, just walking in and, them looking at books because it is a library. But, she would do it, definitely just walk in, and if they ask her anything, be like, oh, I'm just here. And then I feel like after they ignore her, she'd kind of try to sneak in on the conversation.
Gotcha. So we'll say Tristan and Willow are the first people to kind of come up here. And as you make your approach, you probably get within about 20 feet of the entrance of this library. And one of the newer teachers that's got to be barely older than either of you kind of notices you and intercepts. And it certainly seems like they're trying to flex their authority right now. Like they're trying to, be, big bad teacher. And she says, shouldn't you be in lunch right now?
No, we were just heading to the library.
Oh, well, the library's closed right now. We're having meeting, and you can't come in right now.
Well, okay then.
Okay. So, all right, you don't want to push the issue or anything?
No.
Okay. So, yeah, you kind of walk that.
I mean, truthfully, I have no reason to doubt her.
Okay. Willow?
Willow will actually push and be like, that's a bummer, but I really need to get this book for my class.
Okay. So make me a charm roll. I'm going to say that this is, you're going to need 2 successes.
Okay.
So, and this is because she really doesn't feel like now's the best time for you to be here.
I didn't have any successes.
No successes?
No.
Okay. So you could spend a condition to re-roll all of your dice, and it doesn't make much sense to mark your shame right now because that would still only get you the 1 success. So, or you can just let it be.
I'll leave it be.
Okay. Says, I understand. I'm glad you have a love of books right now, but right now we're closed for meeting. We'll be, we'll be probably open right after school if you want to drop by real quick before, your bus runs or you have to head home.
Well, I don't ride the bus, I drive, but okay.
Excellent. Yeah. We'll be open a little bit longer today. We'll be on the lookout for you.
All right.
As they walk away, the teacher kind of like goes back attentively to whatever was happening inside the library. It doesn't look like the direct approach worked very well for Tristan and Willow. So Eddy and Tony. Eddy, you were going to try the direct approach, and Tony, you're going to be like the very direct approach. I'll let you all choose. Actually, I'll let Tony go up first. So Tony, you walk up, and it looks like a different teacher. We'll say, like the senior English teacher kind of rolls up there. And she doesn't know you yet because you're not quite. You're 16, 17. Okay. She doesn't know you yet, probably because you don't have English yet this year. It's probably like a second semester class for you, so you can try to get your stuff arranged to where.
Yeah. First semester is going to be easy classes, so I'm good for.
So your GPA is solid for baseball.
Yes.
Yeah. So you don't know the English teacher yet, but you're familiar with her because she's been the English teacher here for a good long while. And she comes up and says, "Sorry, can we? Did you need something? The library's closed right now."
What's going on in there? I mean, we can hear you all the way almost down to the lunchroom. What's going on?
Were we that loud?
Yeah, it was loud.
You can kind of see her cringe a little bit that, something would be that noticeable. You get the impression that they were trying to be discreet, and the fact that, like you said, that you could hear them from far away, that's kind of like it sort of shocks her a little bit. We're just nothing. It's nothing too terribly important right now. We're just having a meeting right now, and we just need the library for it.
A meeting? Sounds like, pretty loud for a meeting.
Well, that's what it is, though.
Can I just pop in real quick? I want to grab the new Sports Illustrated.
And, she kind of like grits her teeth. Like,
it'll take me 20 seconds. You won't even see me.
We're kind of close right now. It's sort of a private matter. I'm sorry. We'll be open after school. It's
private matter meeting in the library.
Well, it's kids are at lunch. We didn't figure there's going to be this much demand, and it was kind of a spur of the moment. We don't really have meeting spaces.
There's the auditorium.
Yeah, but that's the choir teacher needs that on occasion. And
come on, just like seriously, 15 seconds. I know where it is on the rack. You won't hear a peep.
Make me a charm roll. It's going to be 2 difficulty. A failure means that she still won't let you in, but she'll run and get it for you.
Sure.
And success means that she'll kind of relent. And so we're looking for 2.
I got 1.
Got 1. Okay.
I can burn my shame, right?
You can if you want to do that. Now, that's a once per session thing, but I don't want to dissuade you from using it if you really want in here.
Use it on this. No, I won't burn it.
Okay.
Let's let it go.
So you'll let it go. You get enough of an impression on her that you like really want that new one, and she's like, "I'll be right back. You stay here. I'll get it for you." She's back within about 30 seconds, and you've got like Troy Aikman, the Dallas Cowboys or something on the front cover. And, will they make another run at it? And I don't know who won Super Bowl in 99. I don't
remember either.
That's not the table for that discussion. This is the wrong podcast for you if you're looking for Super Bowl winners 20 years ago. The voice of Tony Walker is Heath of Southern Tomfoolery Plays. Find out more at southerntomfoolery.com. Title and credit theme provided by Tabletop Audio. 10-minute ambiances and music for games and stories. Find out more at tabletopaudio.com. Additional music from Incompetech.com by Kevin MacLeod, used under Creative Commons Attribution 4.0.